term, you'll probably get more benefit from seeing this, if I'm going to be honest with you, not short term. The market in altcoins is still pretty rough. It's pretty shit. I'll be honest, it's pretty dumpy. But, you know, you've got to look at this. This is a very good, legitimate argument to state this. So, Luke Martin, Venture Cap, CoinList. If XLM can cut its supply in half, they can also double it. Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Hope you are good. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to learn more about cryptocurrency, hit that subscribe button and press that bell button. I deliver a lot of information every single week, well, 3 times a week essentially. So, Xlm Token Burns, what on earth does this mean? If you're new to this space and you're wondering what on earth a token burn is, well, sit back, relax, I'll probably go over that now. It's interesting, it's a lot of, you know, skeptical approach, especially on Twitter. I'm going to come on to that, but we're going to talk about XLM. XLM is pretty similar to XRP, which I have mentioned in the title. I'm going to be doing a little talk about XRP as well towards the end of this, so stick around and you'll see what I mean by some elements of skeptical reasonings between tokens total and the circulating supply. What does it mean? What does that change on the investor's sort of mindset into any sort of asset? It changes things. Now, borderless, limitless, powerful. XLM is very, very similar to XRP. Similar sort of founders sort of thing. There's a bit of a crossover sort of stuff like that. But fundamentals are, it's cryptocurrency payment mechanism. It's fast. It's easy. It's cheap. You know, all that kind of good stuff. Now, that is the good thing about it. This is what we kind of want as an industry, to allow us to use cryptocurrencies to pay for things that there's no boundaries, there's no limits, there's no issues at all, certainly with fees. But let's talk about this. This is a massive talking point. The foundation have literally burnt 50% of their total XLM total supply. The total supply, not circulating. So it shouldn't affect price too much, but it looks better. Oh, well, yeah. It could affect the price, but it will look a lot better as an investment opportunity because there's less tokens to go around. It helps a little bit, but it's not exactly a scarce asset. There's still a lot of tokens around, okay? It's not like Bitcoin. Imagine if Bitcoin went 55% gone. You know, it would be different. But with stuff like this, big, massive tokens, it does change the game a little bit, but not overly that much, I don't think, personally, because there's still billions out there. Long-term game, remember. So, the foundation has burnt 55 billion lumens, XLM, worth 4.4 billion US dollars in a push to reshuffle its development strategies. They're looking to change elements, and they've actually cancelled, as you can see here, airdrop programs, which I quite like airdrops if they are for a legitimate cause and if you are actually taking part in certain things. The blockchain.com one was pretty good. Got about $50 worth of lumen there. Sold it ages ago. But the fundamentals are, if you've got high token in terms of price, but they've got a high supply, you could argue that it's overvalued. Opposite ways round as well is if it's a low Satoshi value or low US dollars and they've got a lot of tokens, you could argue it's undervalued at propositions of a potential pump of previous highs, which has been previous elements of where this has also been. Now, when you look at any sort of token, this is obviously what's happened. It's popped. It's quite a big development. But when I look at a token, I don't look at the supplies in terms of that much anymore. I used to in the bull run of 2017. If people knew me back then, I was screaming to people, do not buy XRP. Do not buy Stellar Lumen. Do not buy Tron. Don't buy Cardano because they were stupidly priced. It was so high in value. You got to think, Ripple at that time was Ripple. It was $3. People were like, oh, I'm buying it. What? It's got 100 billion tokens there, sitting there, and it's $3. That's a huge market cap. Wait for it to correct. Obviously, what's happened, it's corrected massively. It's looking like a much better buy-in proposition. So with this, it looks better on paper. Does it change anything? No. It's still circulating supply, it's still there. So, skeptical. Put my teeth back in, guys. The skeptical side of it all is this: the control. Cryptocurrency element is for control. Not for the team to control it, for you guys. The cryptocurrency community to control elements of what happens. The biggest problem we've got with all these tokens, essentially, they are, well, the decentralized organizations. They are still organizations. They're still being run by people, the team, all that good stuff. But changing stuff like this is a massive flip. It's a spin. It's proper curveball. So the crypto community has largely skeptical over the control that the project founders still have over their token supplies. A burn is much better than a growth, essentially, or a rebirth of it, doubling it. Imagine that. A few hours ago, it was announced that the SDF has destroyed 55 billion tokens valued around 3.8 billion. Obviously, prices vary. But what would happen if it doubled? That would be the scary part. So let's look at a few things. One, the circulating supply has not changed. It hasn't changed at all. You cannot just get rid of tokens that are already in circulation, or already on exchanges, or already in people's wallets, all kinds of stuff like that. This is the total supply. So it would state that there's going to be a lot less in circulation coming out, which is kind of good. It would keep the price a bit more controlled. The crypto price pump was predictable, obviously, very largely expected to dump. I'm going to talk about the charts in a minute. But longer term, you'll probably get more benefit from seeing this, if I'm going to be honest with you, not short term. The market in altcoins is still pretty rough. It's pretty shit. I'll be honest, it's pretty dumpy. But, you know, you've got to look at this. This is a very good, legitimate argument to state this. So, Luke Martin, Venture Cap, CoinList. If XLM can cut its supply in half, they can also double it. Alt can be great trading opportunities, but it's hard to justify holding many long-term with no ownership rights and at the mercy of a small centralized team. That's a very, very valid point, which is why you shouldn't put your own money into these projects. Use profits only from trading or from previous investments. You've got to think it's a game. You're buying low, selling high. Don't just go, oh, I'm going to put money into that, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's a centralized team. It could go wrong. You know, any coin, any asset can go wrong. Same with the stock market. Anything can go wrong. Unless their fundamentals don't change, it's fine. But these are fundamental changes. The token supply has changed. So that is a big thing. But obviously, Stellar Lumen is a pretty well-renowned and pretty big company. It's been around for quite a while now. It's obviously got some ties to Ripple. But you've got to remember, as an investor, you've got to keep an eye on certain things like this. If you forget and you drop the ball and you start to FOMO into these things because you don't understand what's happening, you need to get further education. Check out the links below. There's courses. But do not just jump into this, because this is huge. The fact that at one point XLM is only up 20% of the news instead of 100, that 50% of the supply is burned, is solid evidence that the burns are de-inflationary thesis. Possible, yes. Possible. Who knows? We're not quite ready to see that. But if you're looking at buying into this, wait the hell. Wait, man. Wait. Because look at this. Obviously, this is the start of the year. This is the year of XLM. It's been fucking horrendous. Look at it. Yeah. So, we've lost nearly 2,000 Satoshis because Bitcoin has been quite strong this year against altcoins. Now, what does this mean for us? Well, just wait. If you're looking at this phase anyways, and you're just zooming in, this area needs to be broken anyways. This whole area. If you look left, this area. This is resistance, cool. If we go above that and hit a support, eventually, we don't know what's going to happen. It could go up, it could go down. Right now, you've got to wait for a candle closure. You cannot just go and, oh, I'm going to buy into this, because you don't know what's going to happen. This has to go above this and close above it. Simple as that. Simple TA. Technicals, simples. Basically where we are right now. So if we close above this on the daily and it is then now support, off it goes. It could go higher. But again, this is only circulating supply that it would affect. It hasn't done that. It's total supply. If they slash the total circulating supply, cool. You would see a much bigger price action. However, longer term, this may be beneficial because less circulating supply of the tokens will happen. Now, let's talk about XRP. XRP also has a very high total supply. It also has a very high circulating supply. Now, it by far means not a scarce asset, unlike Bitcoin, unlike other cryptocurrency coins out there. What would happen if XRP did this? Well, it's possible if XLM would do it. There's still a lot of tokens that are held by Ripple Company, which is kind of key. If they then go bin it, literally burn it and get rid of it, it could create a bit of a better ripple effect longer term with the whole compounding effect of, well, there's X amount of tokens, there's X amount going into this circulation supply, there's X amount of liquidity in the world. How many tokens will it need? That would increase the value over time depending on usage. There's a lot more fundamental use cases for XRP with business partnerships and banks than there is with XLM. That's just how it is, company progress and all that good stuff. But way I see it is, I don't think it'll happen. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think they'll slash it. I don't think they'll do anything. I think they'll just leave it as it is. The more users that use XRP, the total supply will shrink anyways with fees. But that being said, when you look at all this and how it's all used and all kinds of good stuff, there's a big, massive difference between XLM and XRP. This has much better partnerships. This has much better use case. It's also more stable, but it also needs liquidity. It needs more and more people to use it to see a bigger price action, which is what most people want with this as an investment. However, it's a long-term game, and this on-demand liquidity is interesting. Swell conference is happening tomorrow. What will happen with XRP, we don't know. No one knows. But what I will say is, I would very much see it very unlikely at the minute that XRP would change their supply like XLM. XRP don't need a new development strategy. They've got it. They've got it. They've got partnerships. They're developing it now. It's happening. It's just going to take time. So be very, very careful of what you try and put your money into. Look for the long term. Hare and tortoise is a massive thing. Compounding effect is a massive thing. Keep buying low. Keep doing your research. If those fundamentals totally change, duck out. Don't worry about it. So there you go. That's today's video. Hope you enjoyed. It's a bit of a mind fuck, I know. But the fundamentals are, if big things change, look at your tokens. We're all here to invest. Some win, some don't. Use profits. Don't get sucked in.